What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video here on my YouTube channel. And for those of you that are new around here and don't know who I am, my name's Aaron and I create travel photography and videography based content here on YouTube. So if that is something that will interest you, be sure to subscribe to the channel. But as you can tell by the title today, I'm going to be discussing traveling Southeast Asia, as Southeast Asia has become one of the #1 hotspots for mainly gap year students who basically just want to go and travel the world, or anyone who is looking to travel around the world. And I'm going to be discussing with you when the best time to travel Southeast Asia is, because it's a topic that does have its complications. So if you do find this video useful at any point, be sure to let me know by leaving a like. Put any comments or questions or any of your experiences of traveling Southeast Asia down below in the comment section, and check out the linked playlist on screen right now, which is some travel related content. But let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, this is going to be broken into 3 sections, and it's basically going to be weather, prices, and then when the most tourists are there, so when like a lot of people do tend to travel them places. But I'm going to start off with weather, and I'm going to be using a website that basically tells you the best time to travel each individual country that most people do travel to. It's got all the countries on there, but I'm just going to pick the most touristy places. And basically in Southeast Asia, there tends to be 2 or 3 very key, well-defined seasons for each country, and basically one of them tends to be nice and the other season tends to be just full of rain, thunderstorms and monsoons and stuff like that. It's called the wet season and obviously the dry season. So you do want to pick the dry season to obviously go and travel, and let's just take a look at the dry seasons for each country right now. Okay, so on screen right now you are actually seeing this website that I do use, which is called Selective Asia, and basically it's got a great feature where you can actually just go over to here, where would you like to go, that's what it's actually called, and it has the countries, and obviously the touristy ones are Cambodia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, so on, and then obviously all the other countries are also included here. But I'm just going to go for the touristy one, and you can click Thailand, and then it actually has a feature where it says weather and when to go. Now this website's going to be in the description, you can go and check it out. This is the most up-to-date and the most informative website you can use, and it basically tells you all the different seasons for all the different parts of each country, and it has this for every single one. It's got some travel guides and accommodation stuff like that on there. I tend to just use it for the weather, and obviously I've made a list of just kind of key times to travel for each country based off this website, which we're going to jump into now. But if you want to look at any of these countries in more detail, you can do so on this website. Okay, so we're going to start off with Bali. Now I would do Indonesia, but let's be honest, most people just tend to go to Bali, and their dry season runs from April through to late September, and then obviously the wet season begins early October, middle of October. So if you do want to visit Bali, the best time is between April and obviously September, and that's quite different to the rest of Southeast Asia, as you'll see in a moment. That's why it is actually a hotspot for the summer months, which are basically July, June through to August, basically June, July and August. And that's a key thing because it's the only real country within Southeast Asia which can give you that guarantee of nice weather during their months, as I'm about to show you with the rest of the countries. Now Thailand is obviously one of the bigger countries, and it does actually differ depending on whereabouts in Thailand you are. However, on the website it does actually have it down as November through to February, as you'll be able to see on your screen. But as I said, it will differ depending on different parts of the islands. If you want to go down the east coast, it's going to differ from what the weather is like up north in Thailand, and obviously the same with the west coast. It does completely differ, so do check out the website. You'll be seeing stuff on screen right now. Generally, the best time to go is between November and February, because that is when it is dry in Thailand. Now Cambodia is quite a straightforward one, and that's from October to April. Obviously all these countries are big, but Cambodia has quite a definitive good time to go and visit, and it's quite a wide time. It's obviously 6 months between October and April, so you do have a wide range of months that you can go and visit Cambodia. So that is a great country to go and visit if you are very, very flexible. Now Vietnam has one of the most complicated weather systems, as you'll be able to see on screen right now, and it's basically because it is separated into north, the middle and the south of Vietnam basically. And I was reading somewhere there's over 2,000 or maybe 2,500 miles of coastline in Vietnam, so that does kind of explain it. But basically in the north the best time to go and visit is when it's cool and dry, and that's between November and April. Central Vietnam is very hot and dry between January and August, and obviously the flip for the other months. And then the south is dry and hot between November and April. So as you can see, there is very, very different weather patterns within Vietnam, and obviously the months that aren't mentioned for the hot and dry are basically when you will get monsoons. It's going to be very wet, and it's still very humid and warm, but it does tend to rain quite a lot. So obviously stick to them months if you want some nice weather in Vietnam. Now the Philippines does actually get one of the worst wet seasons from what I've heard. However, the dry season does run from November to May, and May being one of the later ones out of all the other countries. So if you do want to visit the Philippines, I do recommend going between March and May. However, it is important to note that during April and May, the humidity gets very, very high, as well as the temperature. So if you can handle that, go then. But obviously, if you want some more comfortable conditions, go a bit earlier. Obviously, between November and February, something like that will do very nicely. But them last few months of the dry season tend to be very, very hot and very, very humid. Now, Malaysia has two very distinctive different weather patterns, one for the east coast and one for the west coast. The west coast tends to be dry between October and February, whereas the east coast tends to be dry between April and October. So as you can see, they are very, very differing. So if you do intend on traveling to Malaysia, pick which coast you want to go and visit, and then base it off that, or obviously base it off the time of the year that you are there, depending on which side of the country you do actually want to go and visit. Now, the only country I haven't mentioned is Laos, and that does actually have the same weather pattern as Cambodia, which runs from October through to April, is the dry season. So if you do want to visit Laos, go at the same time as Cambodia, and obviously them two countries allow you to be the most flexible because there is a wide range of months that you can go and visit, whereas some of the others are limited in terms of maybe 2 or 3 months. So they are great options because they do have good weather for 6 months of the year. Now, in terms of prices, as you can expect, when the weather is nicer, there's going to be more tourists, and therefore hostels, hotels, and even transportation does actually increase in price, because let's be honest, in Southeast Asia, the people that run hostels and hotels and obviously do transport options, whether it's a taxi or a tuk-tuk or a bike or something like that, the price does go up because they are small businesses. They need to earn money for their family and stuff like that, and that is their only option of doing so. So they will put the price up, and to be fair, if there's a higher amount of people, the demand's going to be higher, so they have every reason to. So just bear that in mind if you are going during these dry parts of each country. The tourist number is going to be higher, which means the demand's going to be higher, which means you're probably going to have to pay a bit more to stay in hostels and hotels and stuff like that, purely because the demand is higher in general. And the same can be said for tourists and the busy times for each of these countries. It is busier during the months where the weather is nicer. Now, whilst during the summer, people obviously in Europe get time off school for the summer holidays and stuff like that, most people will actually go to Bali during the summer. A lot of people from Europe and mainly from Australia do go to Bali. So if you are going to Bali during the summer months, whilst you will get the nice weather, be expected to be hit by a lot of tourists. So again, prices will go up, but that is because it is the only place really within Southeast Asia that does offer that nice weather during them particular months, as most of the other countries are actually in their wet season. So Bali, as I said, gets very, very crowded during the summer with tourists, whereas everywhere else tends to stick with their dry season. So if you are going to Thailand, it's going to be more the winter months for obviously the Europeans, which is obviously more busy over there because people do travel, and so a lot of gap year students will be doing a 3-month trip around Southeast Asia during them times, and that is when it's going to be at the most busy, as obviously that is when most people will want to travel to these countries. But that is all for this video. I hope you did find it useful, just giving some general advice on when the best time to travel each country in Southeast Asia is. If you did find it useful, be sure to let me know by leaving a like. Put any comments or questions down below in the comment section, as I said at the start of the video, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel for more travel related content. But thank you all for watching, guys. Till next time, goodbye.